Hey, fans of the Monday Movie Club, here we are. Now, we started this whole group to talk about the MCU. It was right. It was right in the middle of the COVIDs. So we were bored, and people were Zooming. And so I had this brilliant idea. Okay, so now we're up to movie number 33,
Wow.
The Marvels. I'm Frank Gaffney. With us is Natasha.
Oh,
You look weird, Natasha. Sorry. Goldfuck and Cringer, who Cringer is not really.
He's a little shy today.
I'm
Yeah,
shy. Look again. Annie King back in the bedroom where she belongs. And Mark Wotitzgartner. I'm Captain Marvel, damn it. That booby shot. Good Lord. Thank God she didn't have that outfit on.
The
middle
I'm
one.
going to talk about it. This was her when I was reading the comics. That's how she looked.
That middle one with the boobies hanging out behind
I have no idea. It's the only one that was landscape. Every picture I had was portrait, and it was great pictures of her as this, but it kept cutting off her head and legs. So I had to get this is the only portrait shot I could get. Sorry, landscape shot I could get.
All right, here we go with the plot. Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, has reclaimed her identity from the tyrannical Kree and taken revenge on the Supreme Intelligence. However, unintended consequences see her shouldering the burden of a destabilized universe when her duties sent her to an anomalous wormhole linked to a Kree revolutionary. Her powers become entangled with two other superheroes to form the Marvels. Say what now?
I was going to say, Frank, you wrote this.
Is that what we watched? No, here's the big thing for me. It's like, I don't know any of these people. What happened to have the fun of watching a movie star be in a superhero movie? There's no,
They explain everything throughout the movie.
The boys are fun, but these girls, not so much fun. Although Iman was adorable. And she's really the best thing about the movie. She has a very similar, but not quite as charismatic, enthusiasm as Tom Holland does with his Spider-Man, which he totally re-energized. And this Ms. Marvel character, I mean, it really could have been written for her. She's such a natural in this part, and she's funny. I like her a lot. And when she says, "Together we're marvelous," I'm like, yeah, maybe not so much. And when she said, "What the hell is going on?" I could relate, as I'm sure Amy could as well. Right, Tom?
I did watch too. This is what you need to know beforehand. And all throughout both of them, one was like 5 minutes, one was 14 minutes. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. It helped.
Yeah. Very smart, Amy.
The thing I really did like about it was that we got to see a little more of what happened after the blip, which was I thought was very nice. I appreciate diving into that a little bit. But did the powers swapping seem inconsistent to you? I know the whole premise is if they use the power at the same time, they would switch. And so then, she kept telling Kamala to stay back, don't fight, because they didn't want to swap again. But I think there were times where they used the powers together and they didn't swap.
There was a few inconsistencies I noticed, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think, put it this way, Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, is so strong that when she's fighting using her natural strength, that's not using her power. So she was able to do that and fly without using her powers. It's only when she used like her light energy that she switched. So I noticed it made sense in that world.
Well, it's good that we have nerds on this video.
Happy to help out.
Mark, there were inconsistencies because it was a girl director.
Obviously.
After watching the two video game movies we just watched recently, this just seemed like another video game movie to me. Watching our heroes jumping positions as the camera swings wildly around the various alien figures It was like playing a video game and where you were sitting too close to the screen. I'm like, "Whoa." All right. But the chemistry between the characters, did keep the chugging along. Although the tension between Rambo and Danvers felt a little forced. It was like, and there were some very odd things in this movie. The singing planet.
Oh, come on. That was hilarious.
I know.
I
but-
love that scene. That
Yes.
was fun.
And he's
And
bilingual.
then,
Come on.
It was bilingual. Come on.
Fantastic.
That was a good line.
Yeah.
and then, when the whole evacuation and they're playing Memory from Cats, is anybody making that connection to Barbara
Oh, I have
Streisand?
that in my notes. I have that in my notes.
I was like, please God, I hope Mark gets this because this is fabulous.
100%. 100%.
And why did they need to evacuate the station?
That because the planet it was exploding or it was being sucked dry.
Okay, well, was it fun? Yes. Was it inconsequential? Also, yes. It's supposed to be a sequel to 2019's Captain Marvel. And yes, this had one of the worst villains in the MCU. Good Lord. And so it was inspired by the actions that Carol took. I saw the video too of what we had to know. And in response to the events of that film, although it was weird to me that we only found out about that in flashbacks. I'm like, okay. And the villain, her name was Dar-Benn. I looked it up. And she's terribly written and terribly acted. I don't know the name of the actress.
She's Loki's wife.
She's Loki's wife. And did her conquest even have to happen in the first place, since Captain Marvel can do things like casually fly into the dying sun and reignite it? So this didn't even have to happen. It's like
Right.
the whole Raiders of the Lost Ark, where Indiana Jones didn't affect the outcome.
Well, no, but Captain Marvel did affect the outcome at the end.
Yeah, she just didn't realize it until the end of the movie, as opposed to, hey,
Right.
wait a minute. I just blew up their supreme intelligence,
Yeah.
and the whole planet's now dying. Oh, wait, I can restart a sun. I should just do that right
Yeah.
now instead of
Yeah.
there's like,
100%.
oh, right. I've been so busy trying to do the thing that
Right.
That's the one,
Exactly.
and that's the one line that she's been using since Endgame. Oh, I'm busy saving other planets. Like she keeps throwing it out there. I've been busy. I've been busy. Like that's all she ever says.
busy. She's just busy.
That's the same. That's the same line Amy uses at work when she doesn't do anything. And the movie is also a follow-up to both Kamala and Monica's television stories in Ms. Marvel and WandaVision, respectively. And it's especially true in Kamala's case because her family makes up the bulk of the supporting cast, and her bangle becomes the movie's MacGuffin. It had nothing to do with anything. And by the end of the film, the Marvels is also revealed to be a direct building block for at least 2 future MCU plans, with Kamala and Monica both encountering characters that they will supposedly play in a future franchise. Kamala with the Young Avengers and Monica with the X-Men reboot. Unless, like Joel suggested, in other post-credit sequence, they never come to fruition. I mean, not all of them have panned out. Like, what about the original Guardians of the Galaxy team reunited? Sylvester Stallone, Michelle Yeoh, Ving Rhames. I'd watch that movie. The original Guardians of the Galaxy.
They've appeared in the other Guardians movies, so that to me is like, all right,
No, they could do their whole movie.
they're not going to do that whole movie.
And what about Harry Styles as Mad Titan's brother?
Well, that's still somewhat recent, so there's still room.
I went back and looked at everything from phase 1, and I can only remember one of them, but I counted 3 things that they've shown in post-credit sequences that have yet to pan out in any way, shape, or form. The one that I remember the most is the very end of Doctor Strange, where Mordo took away Jonathan Pangborn's powers and was like, the problem is there's too many sorcerers. We have no idea what happened with any of that because there was a scene that was not filmed for the sequel that would have dealt with that. So that's still out there, and I'd have to look up my list and find the other two, but everything else is still in play because it's still, we're still in phase 5. So anything from phase 4 is going to take a bit.
Yeah, and I can't
Okay.
imagine they're not gonna use Kelsey Grammer in the future.
Yeah, no, my guessing is that the X-Men cameos that they've had they're doing one of two things, one of which I find almost impossible, since we've already seen Patrick Stewart as Professor X, and we know that we've got Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine. That means they have essentially brought 3 X-Men into the franchise and they haven't recast them. And I can't see them going forward past phase 6 without recasting all of them. So my guess is if they're pulling in people from the old franchise so far, they're going to do something with them in Secret Wars. Unless all of that changes because of Jonathan Majors, we won't know until.
But unfortunately, with this movie, The Marvels, the fanboys stayed away in droves. I read it was that they're saying, superhero fatigue, oversaturation of the MCU with all the movies and series. But I say it's misogyny.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
It's a girl movie, and the fanboys just aren't interested.
Yeah, but you opened this saying that there were no men in the movie or something, and you didn't like the women.
Yeah.
You're right there with them.
Yeah.
No,
I'm a
she's got
fanboy.
point. She's got a point.
No, even if they had cast somebody we know in the movie, nobody. Well, and the other thing, of course, the actor
I don't
strike.
know. There was this guy Nick Fury in the whole movie.
Sam
Yeah, he didn't
Jackson
do
is not
anything.
exactly a draw. But the and the actor strike, so they didn't really get to promote it because they didn't go around doing tours, whatever. And maybe the geeks just didn't watch Ms. Marvel yet, and they're just waiting for it to land on Disney Plus so they can watch it all together. I don't know. And so now
The problem is that Captain Marvel, the movie, had the same problems, in the sense that the toxic, misogynistic aspect of fanboys tried to pummel that film in the process as well. And it did,
Okay, so now we're getting a break from the MCU, and there's only going to be one movie in 2024.
Yes, there's only one MCU movie in 2024.
But so they're going to try and regroup. But here's my problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
What did Kevin Feige do for the 18 months we had COVID? He could have regrouped then.
The problem is that for the 18 months that we had COVID, Disney was being run by Bob Chapek and not Bob Iger. And Bob Chapek's issue was, everything has to go streaming. We need to pump shitloads of money into getting Disney Plus off the ground and give it all this shit. And Kevin Feige was pushing everything in that direction. You have the oversaturation aspect because his vision had to be split between however many movies were in motion at the time and however many TV shows were in motion at the time. So that's what he was doing, trying to satisfy his boss, who shouldn't have gone the direction he went in. But then all of Hollywood was going in that direction at the time.
So basically, we got bobbed.
Yes, we got bobbed. Or Chapek. I think.
Well,
Yeah.
so at the end of the day, only 2.5 stars for me. It's a B movie with a huge budget, but without the camp that would make it a classic 20 years from now. And even, Taika Waititi fumbled with that Love and Thunder stuff. So I don't know what the solution is. And while Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Loki Season 2 were fun for me, they're both really farewells to some popular characters that Marvel can't really afford to lose, I feel, right now. So I'm not really sure where we're going to go from here. But right now, I want to say, go home, MCU, you're drunk. No, look, it's not like Phase 1 didn't have clunkers. Of course they did. Edward Norton's Hulk, Iron Man 2, Dark World. But just feels like we're in a bit of a rut here, and somebody needs to take charge. Put us back on track. Joel?
Well, that's what's happening. Now that Bob Iger's back at Disney, Bob Iger has basically said, okay, we tried the quantity over quality, and that obviously didn't work. So we're going to rearrange and scale back and figure out where we need to go. I think that the whole Jonathan Majors issue is, until they figure out what they're really doing with that issue, things are going to be very up in the air for a bit. But
Yeah, well, I think, he's so great in the part, and we talked about recasting him, but I would rather not,
well, here's the thing: is like,
unless he goes to jail.
I don't Disney. Well, if they're regrouping the way they are, they probably can afford to wait to see what happens with the trial and then decide, okay, but the rumors that are coming out of there are that they're A, not waiting, and B, that they're not recasting. They're basically tossing Kang out the window and refocusing
Yeah,
in a
no, that's a bad idea too.
completely horrible idea, because he's a great character that works well in the things that haven't been working well.
And Annie hated that idea so much she left.
Yeah,
Like
I'm done.
debating about something that has nothing to do with the movie, so I'm going to go to the bathroom.
So Joel, right? So getting back to the movie, you thought it was fun.
I enjoyed the movie a lot.
I'm not saying it wasn't fun.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I understand. You gave it 2.5 stars, and it's fun. So, I enjoyed most of it. The problem is you're only going to be as good as your villain, and Darban is just not an interesting villain. She's like, the serious version of President Scroob in Spaceballs, because her plot is, oh, I'm going to steal all the air from the planets and to fix my planet because we don't have air. And it's kind of like, all right, yeah, that works in like Office Space when they steal the plot of Superman 3 because it's a comedy. This was a little too much for me, and I was like, all right, whatever.
Well, also she wasn't very compelling.
No, she wasn't. She
herself, the actress.
That would have been like you talked about a name character, a name actor. That would have been the spot to bring in some, like Helen Mirren in Shazam 2. That would have been
just anybody that we recognized.
And could act.
Yeah.
And could act. And it would have been fun.
So, she kind of brings it down a little bit, but thankfully we don't see a lot of her, and most of the on the Marvels, and I think they've got a great chemistry. They work well together. Every scene they were in together was fun. I enjoyed Miss Marvel a lot, and Kamala Khan here is just a continuation of that joy, like you said, with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. She's just got that enthusiasm, and I love that. She stole the pad and was looking up other kids her age that might be superheroes, and is starting to put together, or maybe she's starting to put together a young Avengers team, and that'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the course of time.
And I enjoyed the inflection that she used at the very end to say Kate Bishop, just like in the show as well. It was fantastic.
It was I enjoy. I'm looking forward to seeing it again when it comes out on either Disney Plus or physical disc, and I don't have much else to say about it. I don't think I'm gonna give it. It's it's definitely a 3. It might be a 3.2. 5. Somewhere in there.
I'm going with 3.
Okay.
So Annie, you joined this group because you're like, oh, I love MCU. I'll watch them all again.
Yes.
Are you feeling fatigued?
No, I'm a huge just action fun movie kind of person. So I loved it. It was funny. I went to the movies with Morgan, and she was cracking up out loud, hysterical laughing. And one of the funniest was when they said, please stop running, let the cats eat you. We were just hysterical laughing, and the whole island that sings thing, we were just hysterical laughing. It was so funny. So I enjoyed it. Was it on the same level as some of the others? Probably not. I didn't think Carol Danvers was as good. I mean, it was all so much like that whole poor me, kind of feeling with her. Like, I can't, like, I'm the biggest superhero and I can't do anything right kind of feeling.
But I
That's-
think that's they needed to give her something different from where she was coming from in her film, because I don't think, even though her film set her up, I feel like we didn't really get to know her the way we should have by the end of the film. She was
Yeah.
nebulous in that movie, and I think that's one of the problems with the movie, is that she's this super powerful character that we still don't know a lot about. So giving her that guilt here, and that feeling of inadequacy, I think helped her humanize her a little bit more for people. So
But I just didn't think she pulled it off that well, really. So, but I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing it again when it comes out on Disney Plus. So I would definitely watch it again. And I thought the mom and dad were great. They were really excellent in it.
Him giving retirement advice.
yes.
Oh, yeah, that was cute.
Yeah.
Come on, yeah.
So funny. Yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Since you went with a 3, and I'm gonna go with the 3.25.
You should bump me up, Frank. It's 3.25 is fine.
There we go.
And by the way, that display in back of you looks fabulous.
I was gonna
That's you, Joel. Yeah, it's you, Joel.
like what
What
I have.
is-
I was gonna change it, but I couldn't get to. I only have Captain Marvel and Nick Fury, and I couldn't
Oh,
get.
it looks like Loki is back there, and
It's all
And a
low.
red
Oh,
solo
Loki from
cup.
last week.
As last week. Yeah.
Red Solo Cup.
To see him last week. It's
Okay, so Amy, did you find the parents a little annoying?
The parents?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of their characters. I'm glad when they finally said, stop, don't do this. And they finally said, okay, you can go ahead and do what you got to do to save the world. Like, enough already. But yeah. Getting back to what Annie said about Carol Danvers, her whole storyline with Monica. Is it Monica?
Monica, yeah.
It was just enough already with this. And then
Yeah.
finding out that she didn't come back because she was ashamed. She didn't finish what she was, that was silly to me. I was tired of the two of them.
She was busy.
If she was busy, right? Because a woman's work is never done, Mom.
That's it.
But I went into it not reading any of the reviews or anything, so I didn't know. So when I mentioned to you guys in the text after I saw it, when I thought, oh my God, this movie is nothing but chicks. No wonder why people probably didn't like it. That's absolutely what I thought during the movie. I thought a lot of people are not going to like this because it's too women heavy. It really is, especially for the fanboys. But I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would. I smiled bigly a couple of times, especially during the singing platter. I thought it was adorable. When they started singing playing the Barbra Streisand Memory, I just thought this, and they played the whole song. And it was just
Yeah.
so cute how they had to eat all the people, save them, and then throw them all up. Absolutely adorable. You know I love the kitties, so I loved it. I mean, that part. There was something else I was going to say, but I don't remember what it is. So I will give it 3.25 as well. Because I enjoyed it. And it was only an hour and 45 minutes. So I never, ever thought, oh my God. Like I did with the
Right.
Expendables or whatever the hell that horrible 4 hours.
And this was right, the shortest movie so far.
I
do have some bit of superhero and MCU fatigue for sure. But most of the time when I go into it, I think, okay, I liked it more than I thought I would. So I guess I really kind of am a fan. I certainly liked Loki too. And I loved the first Loki.
Do you want to stand up and show the whole shirt?
Well, we've all seen this shirt before. I survived Marvel movie Mondays, and the last one on here that we watched was
What's the last one on there?
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, that was as far as we had got
Shang-Chi.
shirts.
Natasha, who was with us in this video, but now it's He Who Remains, is the one who actually made the shirt for. Was She Who Remains, now it's He Who Remains.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And see, thank you.
Mark G.
Yeah.
What What would make Carol Danvers more appealing for us?
If she took off her shirt.
Ah,
You said it, not me.
what
Um,
was missing? What was missing?
No, I enjoy her personality. I enjoy her powers in the movies and her
You think it's
story.
just Brie Larson is not that great an actress either?
No, I disagree. I have no problem with her. The first movie I like more than the average person, but there was definitely some plot loopholes and whatever that didn't make sense. This one I thought was fine. It was a lot of fun. I will say that I actually thought it was going to be a touch better, so I was slightly disappointed, but that's because my expectations were kind of up here, despite all these negative bullshit reviews. But I still thoroughly enjoyed it. But I'm going to start with my nits because I have a few. When Captain Marvel realizes that the bangle absorbs her powers when she first tussles with Dar-Benn, every fight afterwards, she continues to just grab onto the bangle. It's one of the dumbest things you could possibly do, and it would not have happened with someone who knows how to fight. She keeps doing it and then keeps getting her ass kicked and wondering why. Like, I mean, it's very obvious. That was one. By the way, when she finally gets both bangles at the end, they should have played a bangle song, I thought. That's just me. Number two, Kamala has a bangle. It's the same bangle that this one has. That one makes her super powerful. They have Captain Marvel powers plus a bangle. Why wouldn't Captain Marvel or someone who's more experienced than Kamala put the bangle on and then kick Dar-Benn's ass?
Right.
Done. Steal her bangle, then you have two bangles. That's it. Spank her, move her away. That, to me, the movie could have been over in 5 minutes because that's what would have happened. That's what I would have thought of. I don't know.
I didn't even think of taking it off of her and putting it on Miss Marvel.
Yeah, I was like, why? No, I definitely thought, why is she trying to get the other one then? Does she want both of them?
Well, Dar-Benn does. Yeah,
Well, Dar-Benn does.
That was obvious.
Right, but why didn't
Why
Kamala
would they have the same amount of power in their arsenal? Just use it. I don't know.
And like you said, then there would have been no movie.
Yeah, I know. But then they should have written it differently. I guess there's, Kamala lost the bangle, something where they were going for it or something like that.
yeah.
Would have worked
Again, Mark, all women wrote the movie, so come on.
And
Yeah,
women that you
and
know.
that's why I said it was just a MacGuffin because it really had nothing to do with anything.
Maybe she
Yeah.
didn't take it off. It was stuck on her arm.
She lost it.
Something like that. Something.
Right. Women lose their jewelry all the time.
True. To me, lastly, this is more of me as a fanboy complaint. So I have this up here because to me, Captain Marvel is Captain Monica. When I was reading from 1986 to 1993, she was not only Captain Marvel, but she was the leader of the Avengers. She was super powerful. I mean, the movie version of Captain Marvel with Carol Danvers, she's more powerful, I would say. But what really bugged me is that I don't know how long she was supposed to have had her powers in the movie, Monica, but she sucked at fighting. She sucked at everything. And then she phased through things slowly. Like in the she is the speed of light. Like she can be on the other side of the planet in like 2 seconds. Super powerful. And they didn't use any of that. And every time she fought, I don't know if anybody, again, I'm a big fight choreography person, whatever. And she sucked every time she went against Dar-Benn. I mean, it was like, I'm going to throw a punch, but then fall over. It was really, they made her look really bad to me. And
Well, maybe she hasn't fully realized her powers yet.
Yeah, totally get that. Totally get it. And but even at the end, after I enjoyed the training sequence when the three of them would switch places, juggling and all that stuff. That was fun.
Adorable.
Yes, very smart. That's a proper training sequence. But even after that, whenever she fought, it was just she was practically useless. And then she couldn't carry her Kamala when she was falling. Just so many things. It was like, why are you even here? So
How is that a proper training sequence if they didn't wax on and wax off? Come on.
But they did double dutch and she kept saying, go. It's like, oh my God, it's my childhood.
Yeah.
And then
Or
she
Frank.
didn't go.
Frank, or they should have just taken a couple raw eggs like Rocky too. Either one.
Something. That's a
Something.
proper training sequence.
It's true. It's true. And for me, just the background for everyone except for Joel, probably in the comics too, Carol Danvers was dead because if anybody watched the X-Men, Rogue, played by Anna Paquin, she has the ability to like absorb your powers when she touches you. In the comics, when I was reading, she killed Carol Danvers because she absorbed everything. She held on too long and then absorbed the power. So Rogue in the comics could fly, she was invulnerable, kick your ass, everything. And Carol Danvers was originally dead, but then of course, like everything in comics, she came back to life as binary, which if you caught that at the end, that's what they called Monica's mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
She
and I
was
don't know if the
binary.
comics, I don't know that if she was binary too, because everyone switches place. So there was a good tie in there, but I'm done with all the complaining. But and actually also, like Joel has said, the whole Spaceballs plot. I mean, there was just a lot of silliness that I didn't love. But I thought Kamala and her family, just like everyone else that says, was adorable. But I do have one nit there too. I thought they overplayed the screaming, crying teenager part. It was done like maybe once too many times. But I did enjoy her getting kind of more advanced, more adult-like as the movie went on. She started kicking ass and she wasn't crying anymore. So I thought that was good. That was realistic. The line, oh, that's right. Amy's friend, the beard beads. Fury's number one guy, whatever, for Saber, which is now S.H.I.E.L.D., the new S.H.I.E.L.D. I like when he came over and I forget what he gave him. He told him something and Fury just said something like, you always bring me bad news. Next thing that is out of your mouth better be good news. And he just says without pause, all the escape pods are broken or whatever it was. And that is not good news. So I just thought that was a good line. There was a lot of funny lines thrown out there. The singing, the Cats part was obviously hilarious. I think that's it. The Singing Planet I had, but everyone's already said this. So to me, it could have been better, but it really was fun and enjoyable. Just to even things out, I'm gonna go 3 1/3 stars to bring up the balance from Frank's too low.
All right, I'm gonna go to 2.75. I maybe I was a little mean, but
I think upon a rewatch, it'll be a little bit more fun.
And 2.5, as we've discussed, Frank, is bad.
no, it's not.
If I'm
For me,
doing
2.5
2.5, I'm
is
like,
2.5 for me is not great, not horrible. I watched it. I don't think I'll watch it again. I'll give it 2.75 and I'll watch it again. How's that?
I'll take it.
come on, the end though with her mother, and the mother was like, "Who the hell are you?" I was like, "What?" I loved that.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that out of all people too, the Beast would be there. That was interesting.
Oh, that's in the yeah. Oh my god,
Yeah.
terrific.
Well,
sequence.
we didn't discuss, which is where we were going next.
Yeah.
The mid-credit sequence.
I think
Jumping
we just
ahead.
discussed it.
Which one? That one was the X-Men one, right?
Yes.
Where Monica saw her mother and realized she's in a different timeline. And at the very end of it, she said, "Oh shit." Well, I'm kind of agreeing with that. Another timeline. I guess we're gonna have to watch it in 2025 now. Just to wait to get to it. Any comments on the Monica Rambeau and her mother?
Just
What?
fabulous.
Go ahead, Amy.
That's it, fabulous.
Oh.
And I forgot that part wasn't the end, but was in the sequence. So I'm sorry I brought it up soon.
I don't have a comment on that. I just, as an X-Men fan, I am really excited about the X-Men slowly getting into the universe after Deadpool. I think there'll be some more. There'll probably be other X-Men in Deadpool other than Wolverine. I'm guessing.
All right, so obviously we have our whole program set for the Monday Movie Club for 2025. We'll have to watch all the X-Men movies.
Oh God.
Sounds good.
Well, we have to be prepared.
I think there's at least 2 we could probably ignore.
Yeah.
Well, hello, we didn't ignore any of the horrible MCU movies.
No, the ignorable ones in this are more horrible than the MC.
Dark Phoenix is unwatchable, and I'm a huge X-Men fan. It's unwatchable.
I never even heard of Dark Phoenix. What the hell is that?
I mean, we have to find a movie that we only give 1 star to.
There you go. What's Dark Phoenix? I never even
It
heard
was
of
the
it.
latest, the last installment of the X-Men films.
Oh, okay. That's
Who
why I didn't-
directed it?
Probably a woman.
Ah,
I think it was actually the same guy who did the previous 2, Apocalypse and whatever the
Okay.
one, Days of Future Past. I can't remember.
I really enjoyed Logan.
Yeah.
Anyway, so can we agree on that? We'll be watching all the X-Men movies.
Yes, sounds good.
2025.
In 2025, yes. We're already set for 2024.
Fans,
then the end, what?
our fan needs to stick around for 2 more years.
Exactly.
Annie, what
And
were you
then-
trying to say?
Oh, I just wanted to mention that I thought it was also funny that Kamala kept trying to come up with a name for Monica. Professor Marvel.
Professor, yes, yes, yes.
That was cute.
In the comic books, and it's funny because some of the merchandise actually calls her Photon. That is, I think, her most recent name in the comic books. And there were like some action figures that was like referred to her as Photon, but she's never referred to that at all in the movie. So
When I was looking up a picture for her, I saw the same exact thing. Photon. Yeah.
And then the end credit sequence, which I didn't stay for because Joel said I could leave, was just Kamala walking
No, it was
in
just
on.
the sound effects.
it was just the sound. It was just basically hearing the cat going meow meow blah.
Oh, well, where I thought I read something about Haley Steinfeld.
Did you
Yeah,
watch
she was in it. That was before the movie ended.
it before?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know which one she was.
Which
So-
character? She gonna-
So we just watched Hawkeye, which was my favorite TV show out of all.
Right.
of them.
Right.
She
Oh,
was
so
Kate
she's
Bishop.
Hawkeye.
She was the
She's
new
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. And if you recall,
Oh!
Florence
Yeah.
Pugh was the new Black Widow, who was
Yeah.
kind of fighting with her. But whatever. She would always show up in her interactions. Say she would always call her Kate Bishop, never Kate, never Hawkeye. It was always Kate Bishop. So when Kamala showed up, she said Kate Bishop. It was a direct reference to the TV show.
Right.
That's why I left.
And
Oh,
so
that's
that
cute.
that's a
Forgot that.
potential for the Young Avengers.
Yes.
All right, cool. Any other comments? Suggestions?
If you're watching this, there are spoilers involved.
Should I put that in my opening?
Yeah, maybe.
So that's it for us. Well, so next week, Marvels is only in movie theaters, unless you want to wait 6 months and see it on Disney Plus.
Well, I'm sure it'll be there sooner than that.
For $20.
Nope.
And
Because it's not doing that well in the theater.
They're
True.
gonna from what I understand lately, it's like the shortest window is about 45 days. So I'd expect by New Year's this will be on Disney Plus.
Wow.
it might be one of those surprise Christmas Day you can watch.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so next week, Amy is making us take the big bus
Back to her childhood.
back to her childhood. It's another parody of those disaster films from the 70s, I assume.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And this is from 1976. Was this another Avalon Theater movie?
I think it's later than 76. I think it's like
Is it?
78.
78?
Yeah, I don't think I was in Connecticut anymore when this came out.
Yeah.
So I don't know how or where I saw it.
I never
for
heard of it.
70
It
Now,
says
me,
76, but
Really?
all right, I was right for 76.
Then I saw it at
Um,
the Avon Theater in Stamford. Yes.
You should call them up and ask what their entire run was while you were there so you could put them all on your list.
That would be absolutely amazing. And they'd
then
be like,
ask them.
okay, boomer.
And then they'll ask you for your high school diploma. And all right, that's it for us. I'm Frank Gaffney. Go watch a movie.
And also with the Birkin.
The Virgin.